How does fasting develop taqwa? The Quran gives us a comprehensive reason why we have to fast. Allah Almighty says that fasting has been prescribed for us as it was for people before us, so that you may become al-muttaqun, the pious or the righteous. That is the simple, all-complete answer. Our existence consists of our body and our ruh, soul. Our body and ruh have entirely different needs. Our body was made from dirt, so its food and nutrition is derived from the earth. Our ruh came from the heavens, so its nutrition comes from the heavens. Just like our body, our ruh is also always in need of food, and without food it will starve to death. Its food is in the form of revelation, which Allah Almighty describes as nur, light, in the Quran. The light within us is in need of the light of revelation to complete itself and light the way. Our ruh has the intrinsic desire to submit to Allah Almighty, but our nafs, meaning self, ego, psyche, is like a wild horse. We are the horse rider who needs to learn how to control and command this wild horse. If we don't control this wild horse, it will lead us wherever it wishes. It is driven by our needs and desires. Needs are necessary for our survival, for example, food, drink, shelter, etc. Desires are in excess of our basic needs and are not necessary for our survival. Sometimes we become so obsessed with our desires that they overpower us. Allah Almighty does not ask us to strangle our desires, but He asks us to control and channel our desires in the right direction. If we lose self-control, we become like animals. We need to maintain the balance between our body and ruh. If we feed our body alone and starve our soul, we will lose this balance. In Ramadan, Allah Almighty deprives us of our basic needs of food, drink, and intimacy. During fasting, we feel intense thirst and hunger. These natural bodily needs continuously push us to rebel against Allah to fulfill our needs. But we fight against our nafs the entire day, due to the consciousness of Allah Almighty. It is a constant battle between our nafs and our ruh. We crush our basic needs and the strongest desires only to gain the pleasure of Allah Almighty. We starve our bodies to feed our ruh in order to regain the lost balance between our body and ruh. When we manage to suppress our basic needs during Ramadan, we realize that we have the strength to refrain from sins outside of Ramadan. When we manage to stay away from even the permissible things in Ramadan, we realize that we have the ability to abstain from impermissible things. Allah Almighty makes us go through a tough physical practice regimen, and this training develops our spiritual muscles that drive us after Ramadan is over. It is a practice of self-restraint, just like an athlete who follows a strict diet and exercise plan to prepare for a marathon race. Fasting develops into us a power that helps us control our desires, which is the foundation of taqwa. Fasting is not the ultimate goal, but it is the means to attain taqwa. Let us be steadfast in our fasting for the pleasure of Allah Almighty and race towards the goal of building taqwa. O Allah, wake us from the sleep of negligence. Grant us an increase in awareness of You before it is too late. Bless us with the ability to take advantage of our time in what benefits us for our appointed time, and forgive us, our parents, and all Muslims by Your mercy, for You are the most merciful of the merciful. And may the prayers and peace of Allah be upon our Prophet Muhammad and upon his family and companions.